Okay, so this time let's talk about chapter 14, chapter 8 pala sa atin. So let's talk about chapter 8, which is on alcohols. Alcohol lang. Yung ether and thiols, hindi na natin i-cover yan. No? Ito yung last discussion natin. Ito, hindi na yan kasama. Okay? So, yan. So, let's start. Now, when we say alcohol, alcohol are organic compounds. Alcohol are organic molecules that contains an hydroxyl functional group. No? Ano yung hydroxyl? Ang hydroxyl ay yung OH. No? So, ibig sabihin, lahat ng alcohol may OH doon. No? For example, itong binili kong alcohol na to, ano nakalagay sa kanyang name, sabi dyan ay isopropyl alcohol, no? So, baliktad lang yung sulat pag nandyan sa screen nyo. Okay. So, yung isopropyl alcohol na yon, yung alcohol na word mismo, that means na may OH yung molecules dito, no? Okay, so ganun kapag alcohol. And marami tayong versions ng alcohol. May methanol, ito yung alcohol that is derived from the wood, no? Ito rin yung naging serial killer noong last year, no? Kung naalala niyo yung mga balita about lambanog, no? Yung mga namatay dahil sa methanol, no? So alcohol yung methanol. Ano pa? Yung ethanol, isa din yung uri ng alcohol, no? And yung ethanol, yung predominant version ng alcohol for the beverages, no? Mga alak, no? So yun, kasi kapag nag-produce ka ng wine or ng alak, let's say, pwedeng dalawa yung ma-produce niya, ethanol and methanol, no? So kapag na-produce yung methanol, ibig sabihin there is something wrong with your process, no? And that is toxic, no? Just few amounts of methanol will kill a person, no? So, ganun. So, yun yung reason ba't maraming na-deads nung nakaraan. Mali kasi yung process nila ng paggawa ng alcohol. No? Yan. So, anyway, yan, balik ulit tayo. Maraming ang versions ng alcohol sa paligid. May methanol, which is a wood alcohol. Okay? Ethanol, ito yung ginagamit sa beverages. No? Ang propanol, isopropanol, no? Isopropyl alcohol. Ito, yung ginagamit sa mga disinfectant, no? So, for example, yung mga pang-spray natin ngayon, especially kapag tayo ay lumalabas, di ba, kailangan mag-alcohol parate, no? So, yun. At iba pa, no? Okay? So, ngayon, paano natin papangalanan yung mga molecules ng alcohol, no? So, the naming for alcohols is very simple, no? So, still, we'll use the idea of alkanes, alkenes, alkynes, no? Yung pag-name nila. Okay? So, yung pag-naming dito, that is very similar to your hydrocarbons with addition sa name ng functional group, no? Ano yung functional group na nadagdag sa atin? Yung OH, no? So, ngayon, papangalanan natin yung OH as all, no? So, alcohol yan. Kapag may all. Pag may OH, ano ulit tawag? All or alcohol, no? Okay? So, isa-isahin natin yung rules, no? So, very familiar na tayo sa iba dito. Ang madadagdag lang, yung rule for OH. Okay? So, number 1, you select the longest carbon chain containing OH group, no? So, just like, alkenes, no? Hanapin mo yung longest chain with the double bond, no? So, this time, hanapin mo yung longest chain na may OH, no? Okay? So, you check kung sino yung longest chain that contains the hydroxyl functional group, no? And yun yung magiging parent chain mo, no? You will count the number of atoms, of carbon atoms there, no? And use the appropriate prefix, no? Kunwari, may 5 carbons dun sa may OH, edi pangalan niya, pentanol. Okay? So, ganun. Kunwari, 6 carbon, edi hexanol, no? Okay, paano yung all? Paano yung pag-change ng, parent name to all, to the alcohol version? Ito yun sa second rule. You change the ending of your parent chain from E to all, no? So, kunwari, propanol, propane. Tapos naging alcohol yan. Ang pangalan niya, propanol. Kunwari, methane. Ang methane yung original molecule mo. Pag yan ay naging alcohol, ang pangalan niya ay methanol. Ethane, kapag yan ay naging alcohol, ethanol. Okay? So basically, yung E sa dulo ng mga alkanes, pwede rin yung alkenes and alkynes, no? So yung mga ano nila, yung mga E sa dulo, papalitan mo siya ng ol. Okay? So by this time, basta may makita kayong ol sa mga molecules, yun ay alcohol. Okay? Okay. Ngayon, paano naman yung numbering, no? So, when numbering your carbons, you give the highest priority to your OH, no? So, kung sino yung carbon na nandun yung OH, dun banda yung 1, okay? So, okay. So, dulo pa rin yung pag-assign ng numbers, pero uh, yung highest priority mo nga is the OH, no? Not the other substituent. Okay, so yun yung gagawin nyo. And then, lastly, you name and number the substituents, list them in alphabetical orders in order to derive their IUPAC names na. So, for example, let's have this, few examples, then later yun sa worksheet tayo. Okay. So, nomenclature tayo. So, for example, this one is called ethanol. So, ito yung molecule ng alcohol that is present sa mga alcoholic beverages natin. Okay? So, paano siya naging ethanol? So, this is your parent chain. Okay? So, yan yung parent chain. Ilang carbon meron? Isa, dalawa. So, kapag dalawang carbons, tawag doon ay ethane, di ba? Since we have an OH functional group, we will replace the E to all, di ba? So, from ethane, magiging ethanol. Okay? As long as may OH sa molecule, alcohol yan. For example, yung phenol. Bakit kaya phenol tawag doon? Sige, last discussion natin yan. Kaya siya naging phenol kasi you have a phenyl group, 'di ba phenyl ang tawag doon kapag yung benzene yung substituent. You have a phenyl group and an OH functional group. Kaya ang tawag diyan ay phenol. Yung phe, yan ay phenyl. Yung ol, alcohol. Okay? So that is benzyl alcohol or phenyl alcohol or basically phenol. Okay? So yan. So, ganun lang. You just name your parent chain that includes the hydroxyl functional group, no? And you just change the E to all. Okay. For example, we have here propanol. Okay. Okay. So, paano siya naging propanol? So, this is your parent chain. Then, you count the number of carbon atoms here. No? So, 1, 2, 3. So, you have 3 carbon atoms. So, anong prefix nun? Prop, di ba? So, yan ay prop. Tapos, yung E ng propane, papalitan mo ng all. So, propanol. Okay? However, pag ganito na, maglalagay ka na ng numbers. No? So, maglalagay ka ng locant for your OH. So, pwedeng ganyan yung counting. Left to right, 1, 2, 3. Pwede ring right to left, 1, 2, 3. Okay? So, yung OH mo, nasa ang carbon? Siya ay nasa carbon 3 or 1. Okay? So, sino yung gagamitin kong locant? Hindi yung 3 kasi may lowest number yung 1. Okay? So, my locant will not be 3. Instead, ang locant ko ay 1. So, I have to include that. No? Kasi may mga isomers din to. No? So, you have to include what type of alcohol are you pertaining to which carbon it is connected. Okay? So, yan. So, if you have a long chain, hanapin mo kung ano yung locant mo. You assign numbers left to right to left. Kung saan yung lowest number for OH, yun yung kanyang locant. Okay? So, for this case, ang ating OH ay nasa carbon number 1 ng propane. Okay? So, we will name it as 1-propanol. Okay? Kasi may mga isomers uli yan, no? Kapag yung OH nilipat mo sa second carbon, ito yung magiging itsura niyan. 2-propanol. Okay? So, for example, dito tayo nag-start ng counting, di ba? 1, 2, 3. So, kapag yung OH from the carbon number 1, nilipat ko siya sa second carbon, ang pangalan na niya ay 2-propanol. And 2-propanol has a common name, which is the isopropyl alcohol. Iyon yung nasa alcohol bottle ko. So, yan. So, yan yung itsura ng molecule sa bottle niya. So, yan. Okay, so may difference sila, no? So, basta, ang gagawin nyo, maglatag kayo ng long chain. Hanapin nyo yung long chain that has the hydroxyl functional group. You assign numbers left to right to left. Number kayo isa-isa. Left to right to left. Then, hanapin nyo kung nasaan yung lowest number for OH. No? You have to include the lowest number. Okay? Kasi substituent yung alcohol natin. No? Still substituent yan. Okay? So, ganon. So, we have this one, butanol. So, ilang carbon atoms meron tayo? Again, we start counting near the OH. No? So, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 carbons. So, this is butane. However, since may OH siya, since siya ay OH, may alcohol siya, so pangalan niya ay butanol. Again, you have to include anong carbon na kabit yung OH. So that is necessary. So 1-butanol yan, or butyl alcohol. This is another version. We have the 2-butanol. So let's start counting here sa right, papunta sa left. So 1, 2, 3, 4. On the second carbon, you have your hydroxyl functional group. Okay. So yan ay 2-butanol. And 2-butanol has a common name, butyl alcohol. Okay. So yan. Hindi nyo naman kailangan kabisaduhin yung hindi nyo naman kailangan kabisaduhin yung common names na. Okay na yung IUPAC name. Magkakaunawaan na tayo nun. Okay. Then, next one, we have the 2-methyl-1-propanol. So, paano ito naging ganito? So, again, you start counting the carbon atoms nearest to your OH. So, ito yun. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So, we have a 3-carbon chain that contains the OH. So, this is propanol. 1-propanol kasi yung OH nasa first carbon. Then, ngayon, yung ating parent chain, ito yung parent chain natin yan, meron siyang substituent na methyl. Okay? So, on the second carbon, andun yung methyl. Okay? So, to complete the name, you name the substituent first, which is 2-methyl. The position of your methyl group is second carbon, di ba? So, 2-methyl yan. Plus the parent name. Sabi natin, yung alcohol, yung propanol, ang OH ay nasa first carbon. Okay, so, kanyang name ay 2-methyl-1-propanol or isobutyl alcohol. No? Medyo hindi na obvious dito yung mga keywords natin na sec-butyl. Kapag sec-butyl, para siyang claw. Kapag isobutyl, para siyang antenna na extended. So, it doesn't apply here na masyado. Medyo hindi na siya obvious. Pero syempre, ang iconic ay yung tert-butyl. Okay? So, yan yung itsura ng tert-butyl. Still, the same as our previous discussions. No? Kasi yung tignan yung mga sec and iso, hindi na masyadong obvious. No? Yung kanilang structure. Na yung iso, yung extended antenna, yung sec-butyl, yung claw, hindi na ganun na. Okay, so hindi na siya ganun ka-obvious. Pero yung tert-butyl, obvious na obvious pa rin yan, no? Regardless kung ano mangyari sa kanya. Okay, so ano yung isang pangalan ng ano pa yung isang pangalan ng tert-butyl alcohol? That is 2-methyl-2-propanol, okay? So hanapin mo yung longest chain dito. So this is the longest carbon chain mo that includes the OH, no? Okay, so yan. Hindi lang obvious, pero yan. No? So you start counting carbon atoms na malapit sa OH, no? So kahit anong direction naman, 1, 2, 3. Okay? So, ito yung parent chain natin, 1, 2, 3. Andun yung OH. Okay? So, this is propanol. However, your OH is on the second carbon. So, 2 propanol. Itong parent chain natin. Then, may substituent tayo. On the second carbon, you have a methyl group. So, 2-methyl, 2-propanol, or basically, tert-butyl alcohol na lang. Okay? So, ganun. And last one, kapag meron ka daw ring, no? Kapag may ring, sino yung bibigyan ng number 1 priority? Yung OH, no? Okay. So, ito yung 1. Okay. However, kapag isa lang yung substituent mo sa ring, no? For example, benzene and cycloalkanes, pag isa lang yung substituent mo, hindi na kailangan maglagay ng 1. Okay? Okay, so yan. Pero kapag may ibang substituent yan, yung OH yung number 1 mo pa rin. No? Okay, so this is cyclohexanol. Okay, this is your parent chain and this is the OH, no? And the entire molecule itself, no? Okay. So this is cyclohexane, 'di ba? Pero because of the OH, yung E magiging all. So cyclohexanol. Again, kapag isa lang yung substituent, hindi na po kailangan ng number for the OH, no? Kapag ring yan. Pero kapag yan ay may isa ng substituent na dagdag or tatlo na sila, ang number 1 ay yung OH, no? Again, yung ating priority ay yung OH. Okay? So ngayon, practice muna tayo. Okay, so let's practice. Write the IUPAC name for each alcohols. No? Then, later on, mag-worksheet tayo. No? Mamaya na natin gawin yung worksheet. Okay? So, we have this molecule. Okay? So, ano daw yung pangalan niya? Sabi natin kanina, the nomenclature for alcohol is similar to alkanes. However, your parent chain must include the OH. No? So, ano yung longest chain na may OH dyan? Ito yon. Okay? So, yan yung longest chain na may OH. So, you count the carbon atom. No? Bilangan mo kung ilang carbon yan. So, 5 carbon yan, no? Okay, so, you have 5 carbons. So, ano yung pangalan yan? Edi pentanol. Ngayon, asan yung OH sa pentanol? Kasi pwede siyang nasa 1, pwede nasa 2, pwede nasa 3. So, gagawin natin, magka-count tayo ng carbons, no? Starting sa carbon na malapit sa OH, no? So, sino dito yung malapit sa OH? Itong nasa left ba or yung nasa right? Obviously, yung nasa right, no? So, that means we will count here, no? So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So, yan. Always start counting near the OH para hindi na kayo mahirapan. Okay? So, yan. Or pwede rin at the OH mismo kapag yan ay ring. Okay, so we have a 2-propanol here. So 2-propanol. Ngayon, may substituent tayo. Ito yung substituent natin. So since isang carbon lang yung substituent natin, that's methyl, 'di ba? So asan yung methyl group? Nasa 4th carbon. Okay? So pangalan niyan ay 4-methyl 2-propanol. Okay? So again, the rules are the same, no, as your hydrocarbons. No? Ang nadagdag lang sa atin, yung all. No? Okay. So ganun lang. Sa pangalan niya ay 4-methyl 2-propanol. Punta tayo dito sa baba. Ayan. Ano pangalan ng letter C? So ang pangalan ng letter C natin ay alamin natin. Okay. So, you identify the longest chain containing the OH. No? So, basically, yung molecule na yun mismo. The entire molecule itself is the longest chain with the OH. No? So, after that, na-identify natin na yan na yung parent chain mismo, yung molecule na mismo. No? Magbibilang tayo ng carbon atoms. Saan tayo mag-start? Sa carbon nearest to your OH. No? So, edi sa left tayo. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, makikita natin, yung OH natin ay nasa second carbon. So, we will call it 2-heptanol. Hep kasi we have 7 carbons na. So, ganun lang. So, 2-heptanol na yan. Bulaga. Ano kaya pangalan niya? Ala, paano yan, sir? Okay, di ba, nung discussion natin ng alkanes, particularly sa cycloalkanes, no? Di ba, kapag parehas yung solid wedge, that means it is both pointing towards your eyes, no? Kapag naka-solid wedge yan, ano po uli yung solid wedge? Yun yung black na thick line. Ibig sabihin, that is pointing towards you. Yan yung substituent pointing towards you. Kapag yan ay naka-dash, yan ay pointing away from you. At di ba, pwedeng may dalawang combination yan. They could be both pointing at you or away from you. At the same time, yan ha, pareha sila naka-point sa'yo or naka-point pa alis sa iyo. Pwede rin namang alternating. Yung isa naka-point sa'yo, yung isa naka-point sa other direction. Okay? So, sabi natin, we have a cis-trans isomerism for cycloalkanes. Now, so depending on the position, on the type of substituent you have, if they are both pointing at you or both pointing away from you, we call it the cis isomer, di ba? Pero, kapag one is pointing at you, the other is pointing away from you, we call it trans, no? So, let's look here. Ano kaya yan? Yan ay trans, obviously, no? Kasi yung isa naka-point sa'yo, yung OH nakatutok sa ating face, no? Yung ating methyl group, yung CH3, ito yon, that is pointing behind your screen, no? Nasa likod yan ng papel, nasa likod yan ng inyong devices. Okay? So, this one is pointing towards us. This one is pointing away from us. So, this is a trans molecule. Okay? So, we have to indicate yung trans now. Sa unahan nilalagay yon. Okay? So anyway, so alam natin trans yan. Focus na tayo sa naming ulit. No? So naming tayo niyan. Again, we have a ring. Sino yung number 1? Yung OH. No? So kung nasan yung carbon na nandun yung OH, yun yung 1. 1, 2. Okay, so yan, effortless. So, yan. So, yung 2, ang ating substituent sa alcohol parent chain natin. Okay? So, anong pangalan niya? 2-methyl 1-cyclohexanol. So, yan yung complete name niya. 2-methyl 1-cyclohexanol. Okay? Again, yung 1, pag 1 yung OH, kahit hindi mo na rin naman isulat. No? So, automatically, siya yung number 1. Okay? Parang sa benzene lang, di ba? Di ba, ano meron sa benzene? Kapag yung iyong special na substituent ay number 1, hindi mo na kailangan ilagay yung number niya. So, instead of naming it 2-methyl 1-cyclohexanol, pwede rin naman na 2-methyl cyclohexanol. Bakit? Kasi understood na ang OH ay nasa 1 parate. Okay? So, ganun yung rule sa ring. Okay? So, parang benzene lang. Kung nasan yung special substituent, siya yung 1, pero hindi mo na kailangan i-indicate na nasa 1 siya. Ano pa yung kulang natin dito? So, we have the name. Okay? Pero, kailangan natin ilagay yung isomerism. Okay? So, makikita natin, ito ay trans. No? So, saan ko po ilalagay yung trans? Sa harap natin, ilalagay yung trans. No? So, sa harap lang, trans dash. Okay? So, yan. So, sa harap always yung cis-trans. No? So, trans 2-methyl cyclohexanol ang kanyang name. Okay? Again, kapag yung OH nasa 1, kapag yan ay ring, kahit di mo na ilagay yung 1. No? Understood na nasa first carbon yung OH kapag ganun. So, that's 2-methyl cyclohexanol. Okay? About this one. nasaan ang parent chain including the hydroxyl functional group. Okay? Ito yun. Obvious naman. No? Ito na yun. Kasi yung dalawang carbon dun sa taas, yun ay mga substituent pa. No? Okay, so this is the longest chain that includes your OH. So let's count the carbon atoms. No? We will start counting kung nasaan banda ang OH, which is on right side, on the right side. No? So this is 1, 2, 3. Okay? So, since ang OH natin ay nasa first carbon, so this will be 1 propanol. Okay, so yan yung parent chain niya. 1 propanol ang kanyang name. Ngayon, ang problema natin, yung dalawang substituent. So, yung substituent natin, you have a methyl and another methyl. Okay, so ito methyl, ito isa pang methyl. So, ibig sabihin yan, dimethyl yan. Okay? So, may dimethyl tayo. Ang question, asaan yung dimethyl? Asaan yung dalawang methyl groups? Nasaan? Parehas silang nasa second carbon. Okay, so we have to indicate that. So that's 2, 2 dash dimethyl 1 propanol. Again, the rules are same. Gising na yung pusa. The rules are same lang sa naming ng hydrocarbons. Ang addition lang natin ay yung OH, no, yung all. No, you just change the E to all ng name. And you have to tell kung nasaan yung OH. So, kailangan mo bigyan ng carbon numbers yan. So, baka magtaka kayo, di ba sabi ko kanina, kailangan may number for the OH. Bakit po yung ethanol hindi yung naninumberan? Okay? Kasi, kapag yung OH nasa right side, ang carbon number nun ay 1. So, 1 ethanol yan. Pag yung OH, sinulat mo sa left side, ang carbon number na dinudugtungan niya ay still 1. Okay? So, basically, walang 2 ethanol. Parehas yung 1 ethanol. So, hindi na namin nilalagay yung 1 in that case. Ethanol na lang. Okay? However, if pwede ka magkaroon ng different variations, kunwari 3 carbons and above na yan, ito ka mag-a-assign ng numbers na. Okay? Ito yung mga answers natin. So, tama naman yung answers natin. So, we have the 4-methyl-2-pentanol, 2-heptanol, the trans-2-methyl-cyclohexanol, okay? And 2,2-dimethyl-propanol. So, ganun lang. Bago tayo pumunta ng worksheet, daanan natin to. Malapit na tayo actually sa katapusan. Okay. So, if ever matapos natin to ngayon, wala na tayong madidiscuss sa Friday. So, mag-quiz na lang kayo. Okay. As in, malapit na tayo sa end eh. Okay. So, ito isa pang nomenclature. Paano naman kapag marami kang OHs? Ang dami mong OH. Okay. So, just in case na may dalawa or higit ka pang OH, tawag natin doon ay alcohols pa rin naman. Okay? So, kapag dalawa yung OH mo, tatawagin natin siyang diol. Kapag tatlo yung OH mo, triol. Kapag apat, edi tetraol. Okay? Or tetrol. Okay? So, ganun yung mangyayari. Kapag you have 2 or more OHs, marami kang OH functional groups, alcohol pa rin yan. However, instead of just naming it diol, diba, propanol, hindi na natin gagawin ganon. May diol na siya or triol. Okay? And, ang E sa dulo ng parent chain natin, we will not remove it. Diba ginagawa natin kanina? Yung E, papalitan mo ng all. Pero kapag 2 or more na ang inyong OHs, yung E, i-retain mo la. Then you will attach the diol, the triol. Okay? So, tignan natin yung ibang examples here. So, ang tawag natin sa mga compound na to ay glycols. No? So, yung iba dito ginagamit natin sa daily life na. So, kwentuhan natin. So, we have the ethylene glycol or 1,2-ethane diol. So, focus tayo. Paano naging ganyan? Teka lang, lalabas siya. Okay. So, ito ay 1,2-ethane diol. Okay? Paano naging ganon? Kasi you have 2 OHs, dalawa yung OH mo. So, you have to write diol. Ang next question, asaan yung OH mo? So, this is your parent chain, no? Yung molecule mismo, yung parent chain mo. Andun yung mga OH, eh. So, you assign numbers sa carbon mo. So, in any direction naman, 1 and 2 pa rin yan. Okay? So, sa ethane natin, sa dalawang carbon chain natin, meron tayong OH sa carbon 1 and sa carbon 2. Okay? So, yan. So, magiging name niya ay 1,2-ethane diol. Okay? Kasi sa carbon 1 may OH ka, sa carbon 2 may OH ka uli. So, 1, 2, tapos yung pangalan ng carbon chain mo, ethane. Hindi mo i-remove yung E. Then you will add the suffix diol. Okay? So, that's 1,2-ethane diol, or ang common name niya ay ethylene glycol. Okay, so ganun. Sometimes, itong mga diols, ginagamit to sa food. Tingin kayo sa ingredients ng mga thick na fluid. Okay, yung mga mga makakapal na liquid na hinahalo sa food, no. Hindi ako masyado familiar, pero alam ko meron doon, no. Kasi nagluto ako one time. Okay lang, pwede na siya kainin. Weakness ko yung luto eh. Pag nung tinignan ko yung ingredients sa likod, may glycol na nakalagay. So, sabi ko, may dalawang OH dito. Okay, so ganun. Basta may glycol, you can have multiple OHs. No? Tignan nyo lang yung ingredients sa likod. Ginagamit itong mga glycol sa food na makakapal. Yung thick yung texture niya. Okay, so ganun. Viscous kasi sila eh. Okay. So, sometimes sa food yung kanilang application, minsan sa sasakyan. Okay? Yung sasakyan mismo, may glycols din yun. Yung sa harap ng sasakyan, you have the radiator there, no? Kung may sasakyan kayo, pabuksan nyo sa parents nyo yung sasakyan. Or kayo na magbukas. Pag tinignan nyo yung harap ng sasakyan, malapit sa, sa ilaw sa harap, no? Yan, merong radiator doon. Yung nasa loob nun, minsan tubig, no? Pero madalas, glycols, no? Okay. So yun, that helps your car to release heat, no? Yung init ng makina, nilalabas doon sa radiator, sa harap ng car. Okay? So yun. So yun yung mga uses ng glycols. Pwede sa food, pwedeng sa, sasakyan, sa radiators. Okay, so we have 1,2-propane diol. Okay, so the molecule itself is your longest chain, no? Tapos, asan yung dalawang OH? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so ang dalawang OH mo ay nasa carbons 1 and 2. So that's 1,2-propane diol. Okay, so 1,2-propane. Ito yung propane. And since dalawang OH mo, you have to write diol. Okay. So, paano naman kapag tatlong OH? Edi 1, 2, 3, propane, triol. Okay? So, ganun lang. Although, hindi na ako magbibigay masyado ng maraming ganito, no? Para easy lang. Okay? So, yan. Kasi baka mamaya, nalito-lito na kayo. Nagkamali pa kayo sa, sa Greek prefix for 6 alls, no? So, baka makalimutan nyo, no? So, yan lang. Yan lang yung nomenclature. So, again, ang rule ay kapag isang OH lang, same as your hydrocarbons. Pero kapag dalawa or higit na OH na, may modification tayo. Okay? So, we will use diol, triol, tetrol, pentol. So, yan. Hexol. So, yan. To indicate the number of OHs. Then, we retain the E sa parent chain. Okay, and then still you will have to indicate to which carbon is are your OHs attached na. So yan. Okay, so tapos na tayo sa nomenclature. Itong physical property, madali na lang yan mamaya. Okay? Marami tayong gagawin. Dami tayong papangalanan. So, isa-isahin na natin. Okay, kung may volunteers, pwede mag-raise ng hand. No? Pero ako muna. Ako na dito sa tatlo. So, teka lang, ilan ba to? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. H, I. Siyam pala to. So, sige, hanggang E na ako. So, 5 na yung sasagutan ko. Kayo na bahala sa matira. Okay? So, ganun na lang. So, kayo na dito sa F, G, H. O, baka may gusto mag-volunteer. Mamaya na lang para makita nyo sa screen. Anyway, so ako, papangalanan ko yung A, B, C, D, E. Okay? Then, i-identify ko yung type ng alcohol. Di ba na-discuss to sa lecture? Yung sa functional groups, yung alcohol natin, pwedeng primary, pwedeng secondary, pwedeng tertiary. Okay? So, paano ko po malalaman kapag primary? Okay, malalaman mo yan kapag primary, kapag yung OH mo ay attached sa dulo ng chain, either sa left or sa right. Yan ay primary. Okay? Kapag yan ay secondary, that is attached sa gitna ng chain mo. So, kunwari, you have this one. Yung OH mo andon. That's a secondary alcohol. So, again, ano yung difference? Ito yung primary, nasa dulo. Sa dulo lang siya. Nasa dulo sa left, nasa dulo sa right. No? So, that is your primary alcohol. Pag yung OH mo nilagay mo sa gitna, yan ay secondary. Pwedeng ito, secondary to. Secondary din yan. Okay? And so, secondary yan. Ito ay, napindot. Ito ay secondary din. Paano yung tertiary? Yung tertiary, yan yung, siniksik mo na yung OH, no? So, yan. So, may one way ako para mas malaman ko kung siya ay primary, secondary, tertiary. Depending on the hydrogens around the carbon. Okay? So, paano yung trick ko naman? Ito yung technique ko. Pag gusto ko malaman yung type ng alcohol, so pwede siyang primary, secondary, tertiary. Ganito. Tignan nyo kung nasa nakakabit yung OH. Ito yung carbon na dinudugtungan ng OH. Bilangin nyo yung hydrogens na meron doon. Okay? Bilangin natin. So, start tayo dito sa left. Itong carbon, ilang hydrogens kaya niyan i-accommodate? Paano ginagawa yun? Bilangin mo yung bonds around it. Di ba 4 na bonds yung kaya ng carbon? Okay? So, kapag binilang mo yung bonds, i-minus mo yun sa 4, yung matira, yung dami ng hydrogen mo. So, at this carbon, ilang bonds meron? 1, 2, 3, 4. So, ilang hydrogen yung kaya? Wala na. Kasi occupied na yung 4 na bonds ng carbon. So, walang hydrogen dito. Wala hydrogen. Kapag wala kang hydrogen sa carbon na dinudugtungan ng OH mo, yun ay tertiary. Okay? So, ganun. Yun yung shortcut ko. Tignan mo lang kung ilang hydrogens meron doon sa carbon na dinudugtungan ng OH. Ganun. Malalaman mo yung primary, secondary, or tertiary type niya. No? Kapag walang hydrogen, tertiary. Ito naman. Bilangin natin kung ilang hydrogen meron dyan. So, ilang bonds kaya ng carbon? 4. Okay? So, ilang bonds meron? 1, 2, 3. So, 4 minus 3, isa na lang. So, 4 minus 3, isa na lang. So, itong isa na to, isang hydrogen ang meron. 1H meron. Kapag isang hydrogen ang meron sa carbon na dinudugtungan ng OH mo, yan ay secondary. Okay? So, ganun. Kapag may isang H, secondary. How about itong nasa dulo? Again, 4 yung bonds na kaya ng carbon. Bilangin mo kung ilang bonds na meron yung carbon na to. 1, 2. So, 4 minus 2 is 2. So, may dalawa pa tayong H dyan. So, kapag dalawa yung hydrogen mo, that is a primary alcohol. Okay? So, ganun. So, check the carbon. Bilangin mo yung hydrogens. Then, depending on the number of hydrogens, you can have primary, secondary, or tertiary alcohol. Okay? Ganun lang. So, yan. Pero mamaya na yung type. Mag-name muna tayo. Additional info lang. Sa ano to? Sa lecture na discuss to. Siguro naman sa bandang functional group sa introduction to OrgChem. So anyway, so start na tayo. So we have this chain. Basically, the molecule itself is the the molecule itself is the parent chain. So saan tayo maglalagay ng carbon 1 sa kung nasan yung OH banda. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 carbons. So basically yan ay pentanol. Pero asan yung OH? Di ba sabi natin kapag 3 or more carbons, you have to indicate nasan yung OH. Asan siya? Nasa carbon number 1. So that is 1 pentanol. Anong type ng alcohol kaya yan? So, yan ay primary. Okay? So this OH is a primary alcohol. Okay? Bakit? Kasi tingnan mo, yung OH na to, that is connected to this carbon na may dalawang hydrogen. Okay? So, may dalawa siyang hydrogen. So, primary yung alcohol natin. How about letter B? Makita nyo, dalawa yung OHs. So, that is a diol. Okay? So, let's count the carbon atoms muna. So, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. Okay? So, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so yan. 1, 2, 3. 3 carbons. So basically yan ay propane. Propane diol. Okay. Diba sabi natin kapag 2 or more OHs na, you retain the E. Then you add diol, triol. No? So pangalan ng parent chain natin ay propane diol. Ngayon, asan yung dalawang OH? Nasa carbon 1 and carbon 3. So, ang complete name niya ay 1,3-propane diol. Ayun. So, ganun lang. Letter C. So, may dalawang OH uli tayo. So, diol uli yan. Okay? So, you will not remove the E sa dulo ng name. Bilangin natin yung carbons. So, start tayo kung nasan banda yung OH, no? So, sa right side yon. So, 4 carbons yan. So, basically, that's butane diol. Ngayon, yung dalawang OH, asan siya? Ayun, sa carbon 1 and carbon 2. So, ang name niya ay 1,2-butane diol. So, ganun lang. Letter D. Yan. So, isa lang OH natin. So, kung ano yung rules ng hydrocarbons, yung pa rin gagawin natin. So, we start counting kung nasa yung OH, no? Which is on the left side. So, 1. Ay, nakalimutan ko yung pag-assign ng type ng alcohol. So, ito, primary yan. Primary uli yan. So, this one is primary. Okay? So, this one is secondary. Okay, so again, anong basis natin ay yung hydrogens. Pag yung carbon, wala siyang hydrogen, tertiary. 3 tapos may may bilog sa taas. Para siyang degrees, no? So, 3, tas may degrees. So, tertiary basa doon. Kapag pag ang carbon na dinudugtungan niya, may isang hydrogen. So, that's secondary. 2, tapos may degree sa taas. Then, kapag ang carbon na dinudugtungan ng OH mo ay may dalawang hydrogen, yan ay primary. Sulat ko dito sa gilid para manote nyo rin kung hindi pa alam. No? So, primary, may dalawang hydrogens sa carbon. Secondary, may isang hydrogen sa carbon na dinudugtungan niya. Tertiary, walang hydrogen. Ayan. So, 0 yan na, hindi yan OH. Nakakalito naman kasi. So, ayan. Anyway, so letter D tayo. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ito yung longest chain natin that contains the OH functional group. So, since 4 carbons yan ay butanol. Butanol. Isa lang yung OH yan. Ano tayo? Magtatanggal tayo ng E. Pag dalawa or higit yung OH, hindi magtatanggal ng E. Okay? So, this is butanol. Pero, yung OH sa butanol, nasa first carbon. So, we also have to indicate that. No? So, 1-butanol ang kanyang complete parent name. Ngayon, may isa pa tayong substituent, yung methyl group. No? So, asan yung methyl? Sa third carbon. So, siya ay 3-methyl-1-butanol. So, 3-methyl-1-butanol. Ayan yung complete name niya. O, letter E. O, diol yan. So, hindi mo tatanggalin yung E. No? So, mag-count ka kung nasan yung OH banda. Diba sabi ko kanina, kapag isang lang yan, kapag isa lang yung OH, hindi na necessary lagyan ng number 1 yung OH kasi automatically siya yung number 1. Pero kapag 2 or more na yan, hindi mag-number ka na syempre. Okay? So, yan. So, on the first and on the second carbon ng cyclohexane, ando yung OHs. So, anong kapangalan niya? So, hindi mo tatanggalin yung E sa cyclohexane. Cyclohexane. And since dalawa yung OH, diol yun. Cyclohexane, diol. Ngayon, asan yung diol? Nasa carbon 1 and 2. Ano pa alam natin? Ang dalawang OH ay pointing towards us. No? They are both pointing towards us. So, pangalan yan ay cis. Okay? So, siya si cis-1,2-cyclohexane diol. Haba na. Okay. So, ganun. So, just in case na may isomerism, may cis-trans, edi isama mo. No? So, sa harap parati nilalagay yung cis or yung trans. No? So, yan. So, yun lang. Nakalimutan natin lagyan ng type ng alcohol yan. So, this one is primary. This one is secondary. This one is also secondary. Again, ano yung basis? Dignan mo yung dami ng hydrogens na meron. Yung carbon na kadugtong niya. Okay? Example, this one. Ilang hydrogen meron dito sa carbon na to? 2. So, yan ay primary. Paano uli malalaman? 4 na bonds yung carbon. Okay? Sa 4 na yon, 2 ginamit nun. Ito yung isa, connection sa OH. Yung isa, connection to the next carbon. So, 4 minus 2 is 2 na lang. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, may 2 hydrogen. So, primary yan. Ito, paano sila naging secondary parehas? Okay? So, basically, itong carbon na to na dinudugtungan nila, may 3 bonds yan. 1, 2, 3. So, 4 minus 3, isa na lang. Okay? So, yung isang hydrogen na yon, that will give us an idea na siya ay secondary alcohol. Okay? Okay. GH. I need volunteers to do this. Raise your hands na lang para ma-recognize natin. Tapos i-send nyo yung name dito sa chat box. No? Okay? So, volunteers, kung meron. Okay, so tingnan natin kung may mag-volunteer. Okay, so let's have Tanya. So siguro sa letter F si Tanya. I-prepare muna yung name niya. Tapos comment nyo na lang sa chat box natin. So we'll have Tanya Grace dito for letter F. Letter G. May umalis sa chat box natin. Ay sa meeting. Ayan. So, meron tayo si Tanya. So, sa letter G, si Jean Paula. And then we have Darlene, no? Si Darlene na nag-raise ng hand. Okay. Letter I, last one. Madali lang yung letter I. So, si Maria Shimmery. Okay, so yan. So, prepare nyo na yung name niya. Message nyo na lang sa chat box. No? Letter, then yung name. Okay, so ganun. Yung iba, syempre, sasagot din kayo. No? But on your own nga lang. By the way, let me rewrite letter H. No? So, diyan ay CH3, tapos may tatlo, then COH. Paano yung drawing yan? So, ganito yan. Okay, so ito yung itsura ng sa letter H or ganito. Okay, so yan. Sige, so message nyo lang yung name. So, Tanya, may name na siya. Mayroon na siyang name for the molecule. Sige, I'll give you 5 minutes, no? 5 minutes, so babalikan ko. Ayun, 5 minutes. Counted na yung kanina. So, ilang minutes na lang. Sige, wait na lang tayo. Pero 9:20, mag-check na tayo ng names. Okay. So, yan. So, let's check the names, na. So, according to Tanya, burahin ko na. Itong drawing, lagay ko dito. So, according to Tanya, letter F is 2,6-dimethyl 1-cyclohexanol. Okay. So, 2,6-dimethyl 1-cyclohexanol. Okay. So, okay yan. So, that is the true name na. Pwede rin naman yung 1, kahit di na natin isulat na. So, pwede rin 2,6-dimethyl cyclohexanol. Okay? Kasi, pag ganitong case, kapag ring, ang OH ay number 1 parate. No? So, you can include 1, pwede ring hindi. So, both are acceptable naman. Pero ang common is yung hindi na nilalagay. No? Okay? So, yan. So, ang OH natin, 1. Ngayon, yung paano yung ibang substituent, edi you count, no? Ako magna-number ako clockwise, no? Regardless of the, naman, of the way of numbering, parehas silang nasa 2 and 6 na. So, yan. So, 2,6-dimethyl cyclohexanol or 2,6-dimethyl 1-cyclohexanol. Okay? So, Tanya is correct. No? Okay. So, sana lahat tama. Okay? So, anong type kaya ng alcohol to? So, this one is secondary alcohol. Just look kung ano yung carbon na dinudugtungan ng OH, no? So, yan. So, that's a secondary alcohol. So, letter G tayo. Nabulol na. Letter G. Okay, so kay Jean, sabi ni Jean, ito daw ay 1-methyl cyclohexanol. Ay, dapat pala pink yung color. So, yan daw ay 1-methyl cyclohexanol. Okay? So, you have to count the carbon atoms, no? Kung nasa yung OH. So, ito 1. Basically, sa first carbon, andun din yung may 1-methyl 1-cyclohexanol, no? Pero, ang most common ay yung wala ng number for the cyclohexanol, no? Ganyan na lang. Okay din yan. Acceptable din naman kapag may number. Anong type kaya ng alcohol yan? This one is a tertiary alcohol. Okay? So, tertiary alcohol yan. Bakit yung ating carbon na dinudugtungan ng OH, wala na siyang hydrogen? Kasi 4 na yung bond. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 minus 4, 0. Saan nanggaling yung 4 na yon? Ayun. Yung 4, yung kayang bonds ni carbon, di ba 4 na bonds yung kaya niya? Tapos, yung 4 na isa pa na sinabi ko, di ba 4 minus 4, yung 4 doon, na unang 4, yun ang dami ng bonds na kaya niya gawin. Yung minus 4, yun yung bonds na meron siya. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, may 4 na bond. So, wala ng hydrogen. Basically, tertiary alcohol yan. Then we have this letter H. So, sabi ni Darlene, ito daw ay 2-methyl 2-propanol. Okay? Dito na lang. So, ang counting, kahit ano naman, pwedeng, kahit anong counting, left to right, right to left, they will still give you the locant 2 for that carbon. No? So, ito ay 2-methyl 2-propanol. Okay, so that is also correct. Anong type kaya ng carbon, anong type kaya ng alcohol yan? Alcohol. Ito ay tertiary, sorry. Tertiary siya. Bakit siya naging tertiary? Kasi yung carbon na dinudugtungan ng OH ay wala ng hydrogen. May 4 na bonds eh. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, wala ng hydrogen doon. And then, last one, we have the answer from Maria Shembury. So, yan ay cyclopentanol. Ayan na, cyclopentanol lang yan. Okay, so kahit di mo na ilagay yung 1, no? Kasi yung OH nasa 1 parate, no? Okay, so ganun lang yung naming, madali lang, di ba? Okay. So, yung iba, pwede nyo nalang pag-practicean, no? For example, itong drawing. Okay? So, hindi ko nasasagutan lahat kasi ulit-ulit lang naman eh. So, ang focus lang naman natin yung naming. Kunwari, magdodraw tayo. Kuha lang ako ng ibang items dito. Alright, let's have letter D. Yung mga common name, for example, isopropyl, propylene glycol, isobutyl, nabigay na natin yan eh. Nasa PowerPoint na yan. So, you can check na lang. Ito na lang mga sasagutan ko. May mga common name nasa PowerPoint na yan eh. Okay? So, isopropyl alcohol, ganito itsura niyan. Isopropyl, kala. So, ito yung itsura ng isopropyl alcohol, no? Propylene glycol, ganito lang yan. Oops. Check nyo na yung PowerPoint. Isobutyl alcohol. Sa ganun. Okay, so continue tayo. Sa letter C, 5-methyl-2-hexanol. Ano kaya drawing yan? O you draw hexanol muna. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On the second carbon, I will have my OH here. So sa left ako mag-start ng counting. So OH dyan, second, third, fourth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So ito. So this is 5-methyl-2-hexanol. Ito yung drawing for letter C. This is your hexanol. Second carbon, andun yung OH. So 2-hexanol na siya. On the fifth carbon, from the left, you have your methyl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5-methyl-2-hexanol. Letter D tayo. Sabayang pagsagot. For letter D, we have 2-methyl-2-propyl, 1,3-propane diol. Propane yan, propane. So 3 carbons. So you draw to propane on the first and on the third carbon, you have your OHs. So yan yung 1,3-propane diol. On the second carbon, you have a methyl and a propyl group. Propyl, ibig sabihin may tatlong carbons pa. So ganito yung itsura niya. 2-methyl, 2-propyl, 1,3-propane diol. Okay. So, ito yung propane diol, 1,3-propane diol. Ito yung 2-methyl, ito yung 2-propyl. Yun. Again, yung longest chain natin must include the OHs, yung mga OH na. So, kaya ito lang yung parent chain. Hindi ayun. Isipin nyo, ang haba nun, sir, oo, mahaba yan. Pero, hindi lahat ng OH andyan. Ito yung lahat ng OH nandito. So, ganun. Pero hindi naman ako magbibigay ng ganyan example na. Okay. So, letter E, let's have the octanol. 1 octanol. 8 carbons lang yan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sa first carbon, ando yung OH. Ayan. Pwede rin nasa dulo sa left. Let's have letter F. 3,3-dimethyl cyclohexanol. Okay, so draw tayo ng cyclohexane. Okay, so this will be our first carbon kung nasa yung OH. 1, 2, 3. So yan yung 3,3-dimethyl cyclohexanol. Okay, letter H, let's draw that. So 1,4-butane diol. Okay, so butane diol, 1, 2, 3, 4. On the first and on the fourth carbon, andun yung OHs. Okay. I, 5-methyl cyclohexanol. Okay, so you draw your cyclohexanol. Ay, hindi. 5-methyl 1-hexanol pala. Tingin na paghalo ko yung nasa baba. Okay. So, 5-methyl 1-hexanol. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Sana habang nag-draw ako kayo din. No? So, this is 1-hexanol. On the 5th carbon, you have your methyl. Okay. So, that is 5-methyl 1-cyclohexanol. And lastly, you have trans 1,4-cyclohexane diol. Okay, so letter J pala. So you draw your cyclohexane. Pangit ng hexagon ko talaga. Hexagon. Siguro kung maganda drawing ko, nag-engineer na ako. Kaso hindi eh. So hindi na ako nag-engineer. So this is your trans 1,4-cyclohexane diol. Okay. So ganun lang. Basically, the rules of hydrocarbons are intact. No? So, andyan pa rin yung idea ng pag-name ng hydrocarbon. Ang only difference lang ay yung additional, mga additional changes, na mga minor changes for the alcohols. Ngayon, punta tayo sa next topic natin, which is on the physical properties of alcohols. Sabi dito, alcohol is a polar molecule. Bakit? Because of the carbon groups here, yung ating functional group na ang magkatabi ay yung carbon and yung oxygen and yung yung oxygen pati yung H, no? What we know about oxygen is that it is highly electronegative, no? So that means ang electronegativity difference ng CO and ng OH bond ay malaki, no? So carbon, ilan ba yung carbon? 2.1 ang carbon in terms of electronegativity. Kung naalala niyo, ako na lang talaga. So 2.1 yung carbon in terms of electronegativity. You can check chapter 3 discussion natin, andun yun. And yung oxygen, ang kanyang electronegativity ay 3. Okay, so alam ko 3 yon. So 3 minus 2.1, so 0.9 ang electronegativity difference nila, which falls under the polar category. So that means the CO bond is polar. Yung OH bond, polar yan. Okay, so yan. So polar to, polar din yan. Okay. Ano pa yung special about alcohols? One thing that is special with alcohol is that it has an OH functional group, di ba? Meron siyang OH functional group. Ano alam natin kapag may OH? Meron kang tinatawag na hydrogen bonding. Okay? Because of the hydrogen bonding of your alcohol, ibig sabihin nun, ang ating molecule, pwede siya mag-form ng hydrogen bonds. No? Ibig sabihin, pwede yan humalo sa tubig. Okay? And medyo strong ang kanilang intermolecular attraction. No? So yan, so these are example to ng boiling points and solubility of water in water of alcohols and alkanes, no. Okay? So makikita lang natin dito yung alkane and the alcohol version, and makikita natin yung difference nila in terms of the solubility and the boiling point, no. So for example, we have the ethane. Ito yung ethane. Hindi nyo kailangan kabisaduhin to. Kwento lang to. So, ito, ethane to. Okay. Kung mapapansin natin, ang kanyang boiling point ay negative 89. Why? Kasi, ang kanyang intermolecular force ay London dispersion forces lang. Okay? Wala kang polar bonds dito sa ethane. So, yan ay London dispersion forces, the weakest intermolecular force. No? So, mababa yung kanyang boiling point as a result. And it is also insoluble in water because ang ethane ay non-polar. Okay? So, hindi siya hahalo sa tubig. Gas yan eh. Let's have CH3OH. So this is methanol. Okay? So methanol naman, ito ay alcohol version na may OH. Syempre, alcohol eh. Tignan nyo yung boiling point. Tumaas, no? So, naging 65 degrees Celsius ang kanyang boiling point. And the solubility in water is infinite, no? So, yun. Mapapansin natin, by just adding OH, tumataas yung boiling point. Bakit? Kasi lumalakas yung intermolecular forces of attraction. From London dispersion forces, magiging hydrogen bonding siya. So, yung gap na yon, that will cause the molecule's boiling point to increase. No? Tataas yung kanyang boiling point. Okay? So, yan. So, tignan nyo. So, you have your ethane, ethanol, and propane. Mapapansin nyo, malaki yung tinaas sa boiling points, no? Yan. So, as long as yung OH na dadagdag, tumataas yung boiling point, no? And then, the more you add carbon then, tumataas lalo din yung boiling point, no? So, tignan nyo yung trend. So, from methanol, ethanol, propanol, and butanol, the only difference is that lumalaki yung carbon chain. And as a result, tumataas lalo yung boiling point. From 65, naging 78, 97, 117. Bakit? Kasi, una, yung hydrogen bonding, it plays role for the increase in the boiling point. Ano pa yung nagpi-play ng role? Yung hydrogen, yung London dispersion forces as well, no? Ang London dispersion forces, present yan kahit saan. No? Okay. So, the more atoms you have, the higher the dispersion forces. Anong nangyari dito sa ating alcohols? Nag-joint force yung hydrogen bonding and yung London dispersion forces. So, nagpo-fusion sila in order to increase further the boiling point of your molecule. However, tignan nyo yung solubility. For methanol, ethanol, and propanol, they are infinitely soluble. So, regardless kung damihan mo yan ng ethanol, ihalo mo na lahat, no? Mag-mix talaga yan. For example, yung alak na. So, yung 70% alcohol, kunwari, ng vodka. Okay. So, hindi mo makikita yung alcohol layer doon. Pero, the more you increase the carbon chain, for example, naging butanol na yan, pag naging butanol na yan, medyo bumaba yung solubility niya. Bakit? Kasi lumalaki na yung non-polar group mo kaysa sa polar group na. So, medyo magpapababa yun ng solubility. Yung non-polar, significant na yung effect niya sa bonding with water. So, hindi na siya halo masyado. Okay? So, yun lang. Ano lang yung point natin na kailangan i-take dito? That the bonds are polar for alcohol. So, that means alcohol itself is a polar molecule. And it can exhibit hydrogen bonding, and because of the hydrogen bonding, the boiling point is increased significantly. Ngayon, reactions na tayo.